Welcome to another episode of The Ultimate Creative. I am your host, Emily Milling, and today I am here with a super cool, amazing human being,
Nia Lee.
I am so excited to talk to you today. We met on Instagram in the middle of this pandemic, and that's pretty cool. I have never met other humans on Instagram until now. And then I saw your videos and they were so funny and so engaging. And I'm like, I must know this person. I must understand this method. And so we started chatting. You gave me some really great advice about Instagram and then continued to do that. And now here you are on my podcast. And it's like, how did we get here? So Nia, tell me everything. Tell me, how did you get started with your entrepreneurial journey and DMing people on Instagram? It's so cool.
I know it's such an interesting situation because I never fully mapped this out. I never really had like any big game plan. So I went to school for like PR and communications, and I wanted to work in that space. So I think a year after I graduated, I interned at a PR agency while I was working a part-time job. And it was really cool because like I really got the opportunity to like work in an agency setting and see what that was like. And although I wasn't like a coordinator or anything like that, I was still assisting with anything that they needed assistance with when it came to clients, when it came to event planning, when it came to certain things with influencers as well. It was just a really great opportunity for me, more so than anything, just to kind of get my feet wet in that world, because I hadn't really. In my program, there was a year where I was supposed to do an internship. And at the time, I wanted to get into radio. So I interned at Sirius XM. So here nor there. The journey is long. But when I started interning at the PR agency, again, I started working I started doing social media management for a few of the brands that we were managing. And one of those brands was a really prominent and popular company called Shea Moisture, but it was the Canada version. And so what I loved about it was the brand was super colorful. It was fun. It was vibrant. And I really just kind of leaned all the way into that. And then that really made me think, okay, I can really be creative in this space. And then a friend of mine at the time where I was working, she also was getting into the world of entrepreneurship as well too. And I was giving her pointers on social media and stuff like that. And at the time the Instagram that I had, this is like my third time at the Instagram thing, at the Instagram, whirl. And yeah, she was like, I love what you're telling me. I want to tell everybody about you, but like every time I tell them about your Instagram, it's like full of makeup and it doesn't have anything to do with what it is that you do. So that time, I think around that time, or maybe even a month after, I made an Instagram. It was Socialee_media, because somebody had Socialee media already taken, and they still do, and they haven't been active on the account for months now. I mean, it is what it is. You know what I mean? I can't knock the hustle. But what was really dope in that was I was shocked to see how many people were like into it, right? I had a whole bunch of people like following me and whatnot. Again, really didn't have an idea about how I wanted to structure anything. I just decided to start and see what came of that. But when I started, I think I had posted a couple things here and there, and then I just kind of like fell off. And that was like around April, maybe like mid to late April, I think. And then I got a job after that was a social media manager / like studio coordinator at a beauty studio. And I really kind of, again, got my feet wet in terms of like crafting our brand and like, posting on Instagram and like all of that. And it really kind of took off as well. So I think that year, so last year, September, is when I decided to like fully lean into social media, really decided to post videos. Again, really didn't have a structure or like a game plan. I was just like, I want to create videos. I want to talk about social media. I want to help people. So that's what I was doing. And at the time, I was really trying to also correspond it with LinkedIn, because I knew LinkedIn was a popular thing. I really wanted people to see me in that light. So then what had happened was I was posting consistently there. And then slowly but surely, I got really good feedback on Instagram. And that just kind of like, again, spurred me to keep creating. And then since last year, September, to what are we in now? It's June 2020. about to be July soon. So yeah, it's been like pretty much a consistent ride all the way throughout, creating videos, really being engaging, relationship building. And from even there as well, when I started in September, I briefly told you this, and I don't know if you remember, but it was like I didn't have like any service guide or anything like that. I didn't have any plans for like managing or anything. And then somebody had reached out to me wanting to do that for their event. And I was like, yeah, but like, and they're like, okay, let me go see your stuff. And I'm like, okay, just give me a second. And then I had to quickly like make something up. And, you know, again, I'm one of those people I think really good on my feet, like, especially if I know that an opportunity is there. So again, that slowly but surely happened. And then again, trajectory, you keep going, people keep reaching out. Somebody says, hey, the work was great here, referrals, da, 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 da. And then here we are, you know, a little bit of, and since then it's been a little bit of crazy. I've booked some clients here. I had a whole, accelerator program that I did. I've started a membership. So it's just kind of like I'm starting things and just seeing how they go and then just getting into it. So
it's like a classic entrepreneur spirit. It's, you know, it's trying and then it's seeing what works and then it's tweaking it to make it better and better. And I love that your whole approach to everything is to just like start it and not worry too much about exactly what it is that you're putting out into the world. And I know like exactly. I'm a recovering perfectionist. Like it was very hard for me to get into that mindset and think like, okay, well, if I don't have something super duper perfect to put out there, no one's ever going to like me or want to hire me or anything. And so like it's really hard to get out of that mindset, but it's not at all true. You know, like people are really, I think, more attracted to like the energy that you put out there versus whether or not something is 1,000,000,000% perfect, right? Like I get a lot of messages now on Instagram and it's just, I love your energy. It has nothing to do with the content. It's just, you look like you're having fun. and I feel like, you know, taking that approach versus trying to make it harder on yourself is not only better mentally for your brain, but also just it creates opportunities for other people to decide that they want to work with you. And I feel like that's something that you've managed to create with what sounds like not really having a heck of a lot of experience over the last couple of years. What I really love, though, about your journey so far is that you have figured everything out in the time span of like 10 minutes compared to how long it took me. And it's just so neat. And yeah, so I guess my next question then would be, what was it that drew you into video versus any other types of mediums? And how did you start building out these types of services for people? Was it just listening and understanding your customer, or was it something that you really liked about the medium? What's the big thing about video?
Yeah, no, I mean, I've always loved video. I've always been somebody who's very intrigued in that world, especially as somebody being a viewer, a consumer. Like, I'm just drawn to people that have a personality that are very engaging on camera. And quite some time ago, so maybe back in 2012, 2013, I started my own YouTube channel. And I started it right at the time when like I noticed so many people were getting like famous on YouTube. Like, for example, this is like back in the day when like Tyler Oakley was like huge. And like nowadays, there's tons and tons of people that exist. But I remember him in particular because I remember, again, so many people were just like engulfed in him as an individual and the creativity. And so even just coming from a world of like somebody who loves like YouTube, for example, I love there. When I'm not on Instagram, I'm pretty much on YouTube. So I'm always drawn to, again, people that have really great personalities, people that are able to edit in a really fun way. And so I always try to emulate that onto my content. And even if you were to go back into the archives and see 2012, 2013 Nia with like her wig and her glasses and just like cringe worthy.
I did see that. I checked that out. I was like, wow, this is very funny and enjoyable. And I am even more excited to know you now.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, yeah. So I look back on those videos and I cringe, but I also laugh because I'm like, I was really trying to do so many things and I didn't really stick with it because I'm also one of those people as well that if I do something for a little while and I love it, cool, but then I move on to the next thing, either because I get bored or I'm just ready to move on to the next thing. So for me, video has always been a part of my inception. I've always been able to play around with it and try different things. I really just kind of love the way that videos they really just evoke a lot of emotion out of you. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I
Mhm.
want to be able to produce that kind of content, right? I want to be able to invoke a lot of emotion out of people. I want people to get a real gist of who I am. And so many people that see my content, again, feel like they get a gist of who I am before they even meet me. And so and again, I didn't start out posting videos and whatnot because I thought it was going to make me popular or it was going to make me, everybody fall in love with me. I just put the content out there and then hope to get the feedback from people and hope to get, again, people seeing me in this light. And then slowly but surely, again, people started really being engaged with whatever it is that I had to say. They wanted to see more. So I always just came through and delivered more than anything. You know what I mean? And for me, it's just something with video. I can't really like
Mhm.
pinpoint too many things about it. It's just if you look at a photograph, and maybe this is different, maybe because I'm so like visual and I'm so like movement and multimedia, like the same way somebody can look at a photograph and like that can invoke a lot of emotion. For me, it's like it's looking at a video or looking at whether it's a 1 minute video, a 5 minute video, a 10 minute video, even movies, right? I love movies. I could probably go to the theater almost every weekend to see things because for me, it's all about the story. It's all about getting to know that person. So it's always been about that for me and really just getting deep into the story, but then also it's a medium where you literally get to like be yourself, right? And Instagram, there's so many people on it. Everybody's doing the thing, right? But how are
Mhm.
you? I've always loved it as well. People who are able to kind of stand out in a medium like a YouTube and an Instagram and think, it's like, we all have the ability to do this. You know what I mean? I say this all the time to everybody. It's like we all have the ability to get up on camera and to talk and to try to evoke some sort of emotion. And your method might be different from mine, but at the same time, we all have that ability, right? You just have to kind of figure out what your
Mhm.
shtick is. So I always believe that video can capture that in anybody. It doesn't matter if you have the most personality in the world. It doesn't matter if you're the most monotone, if you're cringeworthy, if you're super duper funny. It's like there's a lane for everybody in the world of video. So I love
Mhm.
it and I will continue to love it as well. And I'm just also just somebody who just loves the process of it all. I love the filming, I love the editing, I love all of those bits and pieces there.
And so, have you ever made short films or anything like that? Did you ever think about becoming a filmmaker?
Honestly, yes and no. It's one of those things. Again, I'm one of those people like I leave a movie theater and I'm like, I want to be an actor. I'm like, I want to evoke that motion out of people because that was
Yes.
amazing. Or like I see how things are shot and I'm just like, oh my God, I wish I could even just be in that room. For me, I've never been super into like that world. I don't know. I've never like fully like stepped into the world of film or like anything like that. But I'm somebody who, again, I won't say never if the opportunity presents itself that I'm like ready to sign up and try out and see how it goes. But I've never like fully given it a thought or anything. No, but I can appreciate people that again spend their time and have their craft and they do it really well. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's always been like a bit of a balance for me to try to put these two pieces together, right? Like there's the super creative side of me. I do sketch comedy and film stuff, and I made a horror film with my partner Justin a couple of years ago. And then
Hmm.
there's like the marketing side of me, and it's trying to figure out how these two pieces fit together. And I feel like I'm constantly struggling and clashing with all of this to make it all fit together.
Hmm.
But now that we're allowed to do these fun videos on the internet and like be professional and do stupid shit with our hands on
Yes.
camera, I don't know. Like it's like I get the best of both worlds sometimes a
Yeah.
little bit. And especially, when I meet other professionals and other business owners who don't think I'm a total nut job for acting like a weirdo on camera right now, then it's great. It's like a win-win situation. It's
Exactly.
super fun. What would you say, like, why should someone consider video for their brand? Like, how will it set them apart? Like, what is that je ne sais quoi that sets people apart, do you think?
Yeah, no, I honestly think it comes down to I think it's not even necessarily like what's being filmed. It's not even necessarily about like necessarily the quality. It's not even about even any of that. I just think it's about it's about consistency, right? It's about you're willing to kind of show up as much as possible and really getting people like engaged in you and really want you to they really want to see if they can invest in you. You know what I mean? We live in, I don't want to say unfortunately, but we live in a world where it's like everybody's out here doing something, right? And we are, as human beings, you know, we're always looking for touch points, right? We're always looking for ways to relate to people. We're always looking for ways to like be somebody's friend or like buy from something, you know what I mean? So it's like video has been such an integral part of building that like touch point, you know what I mean? Like I'm more inclined to buy something from somebody that I know and seeing them talking about it and using it and touching it and all that kind of stuff versus somebody just like holding up something and telling me, hey, go buy this thing because da 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 da, you know? And like, for me, video has always just been a really great way for me to be myself, be super personable, get people to see my personality. And the more that you do it, the more consistent that you are with it, right? Not just posting one video every month and calling it a day. What sets people apart as well too is like if you're consistent with doing so. So even in like a YouTube space, right? The people that grow exponentially are people that post regularly, right? One, two, the people that also grow make really creative content, right? They don't make videos like everybody else, or if they do make a video that's a trend, they kind of put their own spin on it as well. Or same thing, people that, you know, utilize the world of video to really just kind of like say, yes, this is how I'm staking my claim. You know, they try out different things, you know what I mean? They don't stay, they're not okay with being comfortable, right? And so much of like the world and life and being a human and whatnot is getting out of that comfort zone as much as possible. So video helps you get out of your comfort zone. It really allows you also to stand out amongst the rest because a lot of people know, at least I'd like to think the majority of people get the idea that putting a video together, coming up with an idea, filming it, editing it, all those other, you know, all that other parts takes so much time. It takes your time, it takes your energy, but it's like the reward of getting feedback from people or having your video shared or anything like that. To me, that's what makes it worth it at the end of the day, right? Is me knowing, yes, I spent maybe an hour or two filming this. Now I got to spend another 2 to 3 hours like editing this now because I want all these touch points in it because I know it's going to be amazing. And then letting that video just kind of live in my feed now. And then if people want to find me through there or get a gist of who I am, then that's how that will be. But if you're figuring out like, how do I integrate video into my brand, or, you know, why should you even consider it? It's because it's just another incredible medium that's really going to allow your audience, allow anyone to just kind of see you for who you are, right? Because so many people are on this planet, so many people are on this platform called Instagram. So it's like, how are you going to set yourself apart? You know, how are you going to show people that you're the real deal, that they should trust you, that they should like you, that they should follow you and all that? And sometimes it can be a little bit shallow and narcissistic, which I always deem, like, especially in this space when we talk about ourselves all the time and like we're watching videos of ourselves all the time. It's like, oh my God, it's like always all. But it's like, you kind of have to just kind of be okay with that and know that you're trying to build a brand. You know what I mean? Especially if you're the face of your brand as well. You have to be okay with being all of that and then accepting all those rewards after when they do happen. But yeah, video is just like, it's just a game changer. I just tell everybody, if you haven't tried it yet, get into it. You're never going to be like professional right off the bat. You're probably never going to even like get to the level where you think you are, but you'll never know until you actually give it a try. So do so and then see where that takes you.
Yeah. You said something and then I was thinking about it and then I got lost. ADHD, that's just my life.
It'll come back.
So I want to bring back something that you touched on being the face of the brand and using video for all of that. Like it does feel a little bit narcissistic at first, but then what I noticed when I restarted the Ultimate Creative was that when I had just a picture of my logo as my picture on Instagram versus having a picture of me smiling, it was completely different. Like the way that people engaged with me, the way that people started DMing me randomly, like it made such a huge difference. And then again, like having video to complement that, and you gave me some amazing advice on video and what to do with it. So if you want to know what Nia's amazing work looks like, you should go check out my feed and then check out Nia's feed. But anyway, see how she can help you by looking at my feed. it just makes it so much less scary, I guess, to think about it as, no, that's not what I wanted to say at all. It makes it so much easier. It makes it so much easier to be okay with the fact that you are the face of your brand when you understand that that is what people are connecting with. And so, on the note of connecting with people, I want to ask you about your community, the Socialee Savvy community, which I joined, thank goodness, at this wonderful, amazing time when it's just starting.
Yes.
You put it so much freaking cool stuff in there. Tell me how that came about. What was the catalyst? What was the whole tipping point to get that started?
Gee. So this is actually pretty crazy because I never thought this was in the cards. I never would have thought membership. I never would have thought, let's create a separate hub, because every 2 seconds everyone's yelling email list here, email list there, and I'm just like, I hate emails. So for me, it's like, how do I create a space that is separate from Instagram, because we don't own our followers, right? So every 2 seconds, everyone's telling you you've got to create a separate hub for every, every connection that you make, and so on and so forth. And as someone like myself, who's consistently in my DMs, consistently trying to connect with people, whether that's to connect them to other people or for them to hire me so they can pay me some money, I'm really just always trying to figure out, how can we make this bigger, right? And so when I started my accelerator program, and I really just started figuring out what that world was going to be, I realized that I wanted to have a membership community. And actually, this is actually funny, because the site that I'm using for my community right now, which is Podia, they had a membership component. And I was like, membership? What's that? And then when I kind of went into it a little bit deeper, I was like, oh, this is like a thing. It's like kind of like having a Facebook group or something like that, but it's just a little bit more housed. And I'm not a really big Facebook group kind of gal. I don't really go on Facebook like that. So for me, when people are like, join my Facebook group, or like it's in their coaching program, like requirements and perks, I'm just like, that doesn't appeal to me as anybody who isn't on Facebook. So that whole thing of a membership was really me, again, not fully having the blueprint about how I wanted to go about it. I just knew that I could provide value in the form of video, in the form of a webinar, in the form of bringing other people, other experts into their guest masterclasses, all that fun stuff. And I honestly didn't think anyone was going to care. Realistically speaking, I just thought I was going to create it and see what happens. And everybody that joined the accelerator was going to automatically be in the membership. And 4 women joined my accelerator and they were automatically in the membership. And then when I started promoting it just a little bit more, and I haven't even fully promoted my membership in any sort of capacity. I think I made one story about it, and then I've told people about it here and there and like hinted at it every now and again. And yeah, just slowly but surely, like just continuation of like community. Again, I talk to so many people, I connect with so many people on a regular day basis. So for me, it's like, it just comes up in conversation, or they see my stories and they see me accepting people into the membership and they're like, what's that? Or recently what I'm really trying to do is also like preview certain things into my membership as well. So for me, I also just really wanted to create a space, because I know that like the Socialee Savvy vision, right? The community, the brand, it's more than just me, right? So I really want to like build something where like I can create a hub and bring all these amazing people together. Again, amazing people that I connect with, and have them connect with other people, and have them connect with other people, and just give them opportunities to like share their voice and to be in a space like this and to trust me and trust others. And I've always been that way. You know what I mean? I've always wanted to kind of create something. Again, really didn't. And again, like I said, I'm a Leo. So there's a lot of like misconceptions. If you're a Leo, you're very like all by yourself.
Never could have guessed.
But like, there's so many like misconceptions with a Leo. Like there's like, oh, you're about yourself and this and that. And like, I'm very like conscious of that. So for me, even if I do find myself a bit of too much of the center of attention, I really just try to take it off of me as much as possible, and then make sure that I just keep leaning into people. Right. So long story short, the membership was really just an idea, and it sparked because when I was signing up for Podia, they had that option, and I slowly but surely just started building that all together, and then just kept telling more people about it. And when I was telling people, they were like, well, let's go, because you've given out so much gems on Instagram for free. right? And
Yeah.
these are like,
Yeah.
and even when I like look into it as well too, like look at the videos that I've done, I'm like, these are some really good videos, man. And I'm like, how am I even
Hmm.
going to top this? But even from your feedback and other people's feedback as well, you guys are learning. And that's the number one thing for me is if I can provide something where you can learn, I can provide value. And I'm very also like, conscious of it as well too, where it's like, I'm also just I don't want to let people down as well. So I always just make sure that I give 110 in whatever way that I can. And again, I'm still learning. I'm not at any point an expert. I'm still building my team now. Again, there's a community manager, Chauncey, in there who's incredible, who, is going to help bring all things together. But it's really, again, just one of those
Cool.
things where you just, this was, so in the live sessions,
That's kind
G-
of a huge thing, actually. That's a big deal.
yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But yeah, she's super dope. And again, new to all of it, but accepting all the challenges. And again, really just want as much feedback from everybody as much as possible. So that's why
Mhm.
Slack exists. That's why the post exists. So many other moving parts. But the membership was an idea that sparked, and I'm like I think there's about 18, maybe 19 members in there now, I think. And the other day I was thinking to myself, I was like, what happens when we get to like 50 members? I could have never thought that in my brain, but I know we'll get there. And when it does,
Yeah.
it's just like, I don't even know where this is going to take me. I'm thinking like I want to have a meetup one day, even though everybody in the membership is from different areas in the world. But I don't know. I'm
Yeah, you
accepting
can
all of
host conferences, you can do, like, big summits and stuff, you can
it.
do
Yes.
so many amazing things, and, like, I mean, it's so clear that you're on this trajectory of super amazing success with your community. I can't wait to see where it goes, and if you haven't joined yet, you probably should, frankly, because, like, Nia puts out amazing stuff. So,
Thank you.
it's
Thank you.
just yeah, you're just so, you're like the kind of, like, everybody's entrepreneur. You're like the kind of person that people are aspiring to be, I think. And it's super cool. And the way that you weave your personality into everything and you make things funny and engaging. Like when you said that you're a Leo, I mean, it makes perfect sense. But it's not like in the stealing of the spotlight kind of way. I never really think about Leos like that because I grew up with a Leo who was not like that, but she's very like loud and verbose and like can talk for a bajillion years, but in a good way, in an uplifting way, in a way that makes other people feel connected and engaged with, which is really really important, and we did talk a little bit about engagement earlier, but how do you think entrepreneurs can use their personalities to engage better with their ideal customers? Like your video, the one that like really really hooked me in was the one, it was like a bunch of outtakes and you're like looking at your partner, you're like, are you getting this, are you getting this? And it's like so ridiculous, but I was dying laughing. How do you think other entrepreneurs can like share glimpses into their lives that are just as fun and engaging, um, that makes their ideal customer want to start working with them?
Yeah, no, I mean that I am how do where do I even begin? I love making fun of myself when I'm in control of the narrative. So what that means is if I can put the bloopers together and add the sound effects and add the cuts, like I am good to go. I'll die of laughter in the corner. My boyfriend will be looking at me like, what are you laughing at? This is like the 10th time you've watched the video. And I'm like, I just can't get enough. And I hope and pray that everybody is with me when I put this out. You know what I mean? So out of all of that, I really think at the end of the day, you just have to go with it. You can't, and especially like, and when I say that, I mean, so many of us like overthink things, right? We overthink. We're like, I don't know if someone's going to like this. I don't know. It's like, do you like it? Do you think it's funny? Do you think it's going to be valuable? Do you think you're showing up as an expert? Like, you've got to just like lean into that. And so much of that comes from within, and it comes from just like believing in your own, believing in your own stink, believing in your own, like your thing. Like you gotta like be so excited. And when I say so excited, I mean, you have to just kind of be it's like when people say you have to kind of be your own biggest cheerleader. It's the same thing. You
Mhm.
kind of have just like, believe in your hype a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, know that you're funny, know that you know a lot about whatever it is that right? Know that you're the person that you want everybody to go to about this particular topic. So kind of show up like that, you know what I mean? And so when it really comes down to it as well, like if you can see in my content, like I don't show a lot of my personal life. That's just my own personal thing. I can't get the angles right, and I don't have the right filters the way that some of these people do. So I stick to my graphics and my professional photography, and I throw those memes in there of myself, because those are my ways of leaning into people and letting people know that amongst me being polished and put together and all that, I'm a mess. I'm a mess, but I'm laughing, and I want you to laugh as well and know that, like, as much as I put together, I can put my face on and all that, I'm crumbling. Like, I'm literally crumbling.
Oh.
I've taken this take about 8 times. My wrap is falling for the 8th time in this video. Like, I'm talking to my boyfriend to film me, and he's giving me the evil eye, but you can't see that, but you can probably tell that he's probably, so it's like, and it's funny because so many people that know me, like whether you know me like this, we met on Instagram, or you've met me in person, you know that this is just who I am, right? I've met people in person who have said to me, like, you're exactly the way that you are on social media in person. And I'm like, how else am I supposed to be? You know what I mean? But it comes from another world of, like, so many people feel like they need to, like, put on this perception. And it's like, just do you. You know what I mean? Just do you in whatever capacity that means. And don't worry about if people aren't going to like it. The right people will laugh. The right people will share and engage and do all of that. So, and focus on those, right? Sometimes I find we focus so much on, like, all the out stuff. We're like, oh, I didn't get 1,000 views, or I didn't get 100 likes, or, like, nobody commented on my stuff. And when we make comments like that, we diminish our content. We diminish who we are. You know what I mean? But it's like, you've really got to lean into those people that are consistently showing up for you all the time, right? And know that, like, somebody's going to find you funny. Somebody's going to find you engaging. Somebody's going to think whatever content that you put out there is helpful. So instead of worrying about if you didn't get enough comments or not, worry about maybe the 3 or 4 comments of people who have engaged and loved it, and build relationships with them. That's pretty much what I did when I started, right? I didn't focus on the fact that I had, like, in September, I think I had about, like, 69 followers, right? And I didn't focus on the fact that I had 69 followers, right? I focused on the simple fact of creating really great content, and then slowly but surely the following grew. And now we're, like, over 1,000, which is really great, and I'm happy about that. But again, it's not even about that for me. It's really about just, building relationships with people, and people getting to know me, and then getting to know me even more when they see my video content as well. So that's pretty much what video can also do for you as well. Don't think it's not one of those things where it can, it can actually propel you even further, right? Because some people might be more inclined to see your videos first, and then want to like further their relationship with you, maybe in the DMs or booking a call with you or whatever that may be.
Yeah, that's I think the biggest takeaway, that, like, if you're still listening or watching, is just when you said, just do you, just be you, and don't put up a front, because that is how I did most of my content up until this point. And the fact that you're figuring this out, like, 10 years earlier in life than me, is, like, good for you, first of all. And second, I just have to keep following you and learning more of this stuff, because it's really, really good. It's really important stuff. I talked about this, I think, in the first couple of episodes of this podcast that I did, and then another one on how to be yourself in your podcast, or how to let your personality shine through in your podcast. And I think a lot of people really do feel like things have to be scripted, or, like, read it off a teleprompter, or, that kind of stuff. But, like, teleprompters are for the news, or, like, if you can't remember your lines and you're filming something with your sketch troupe and you really don't want to take up their time anymore, use a teleprompter then. But, like, I'm such an advocate of just, talking a little bit more off the cuff, and being a little bit more familiar with people when you're putting your content together, like, just how we're talking now. And that is, like, I think that is the biggest takeaway, and it's so refreshing to hear you validate that and say that again. So
yes, just do you. Wonderful. Just do you. Don't worry about all the other stuff. If you find it funny, if you find it entertaining, then post it and then see what happens from it. And the less you worry about it, and just do you and be yourself and come through there, the better it'll all be. Like I said, all the following, all of that will come. Just keep putting out good content and just be consistent with it as well too, right? Just, consistently be yourself. There you go.
Great. That is the title of this episode. Consistently be yourself.
Yes.
All right, Nia, I've got one more question for you. If you had to give yourself, young Nia, one piece of advice, what would it be and why?
That's a good one, because I really wanted to be on CP24. I wanted to be a journalist. I wanted to like tell the news, or I had dreams of also like hosting ET Canada. Like I was very much like in the world of wanting to be on television in whatever capacity that might be. And I guess I would probably just tell, young Nia is like, don't worry so much about things not happening right now. And I'm even like telling myself that now, also being like 25 as well, or almost going to be 25. It's like you'll be okay. You'll be okay. One, because you can think on your feet. Two, because you'll figure it out, because that's just how your life has always been. Meaning, like, I get it. Things might be in a whatever it might be right now, but you'll get to wherever you need to get to because you're smart. You think on your feet, and you're not somebody to kind of sit down and just let things happen. You're well aware of how all this stuff moves. So just keep at it. Just keep at it, keep going, keep working hard, and everything will fall into place the way that it should. That's if I was talking directly to her, maybe 13, maybe 14-year-old Nia, because that's when I really started thinking about like careers and media and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's one of those things where I just, I'm always somebody who's like, I don't know what's going to happen, or I'm confused, or I have moments where I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore, and I don't know if this is going to work for me. You know what I mean? And it's like people in my life, they have to kind of like, they have to set me right a little bit. They have to be like, you know what, you're having a freak out right now. You're going to be fine. And I even know in my gut and in my heart, I'm also going to be fine. I'm just having a moment, which could be a Leo moment, or just like every now and again, I'm just having my moments. But as somebody who is just telling myself, young Nia, just, just keep at it. You know what I mean? You're going to be okay, because everything that I've been through in my life it's been something. If I were really to get into the nitty gritty, and I have every now and again, like things will slip out to people and they'll be like, what? Like you used to go on the bus, and it used to take you 2 hours to get to university and 2 hours to come back home, like that kind of stuff. And they're like, and I'm like, yeah, I just did it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what you want me to tell you, you know what I mean? Like, it's part of the journey, and I'm accepting that. As the older that I get, the more I'm just accepting that, and not taking anything for granted as well too, and just being really grateful, or telling my younger self, be very grateful about certain things, and don't take certain things for advantage, take certain things for advantage and whatnot as well. But yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's so well-rounded. You're such a well-rounded individual.
Thank you. I try, honestly. Like if I were to get into it about all the things and all that, like you'd probably think, how do I get here? But I'm one of those people, I'm very just like aware. I was very aware at a very young age, and I didn't really have the luxury of kind of being like fly at the seat of my pants kind of teenager, where I could like rebel and like do all that kind of stuff. Even though that I did, I had to kind of get things in order real quick and still be my young self, still have fun, still do all the things and whatnot. But I'm very aware of me and how I want to be presented in the world, and how, what effort and whatever I need to put out into the world as well too, that's going to best represent me, and my family and my partner and all those other stuff as well too. So yeah, I try to be a decent person, Emily. That is like the main nitty gritty.
Yeah. You're succeeding at that. So that's great. Congratulations.
We're good.
Amazing. Yeah. Okay, so where can people find you, and what things are you plugging right now? Tell us the big stuff that's happening.
OMG. So yeah, you guys can totally find me on Instagram at Socialee Media Agency. That's with 1A. And for me, you can definitely connect with me, obviously, through Instagram. If you want to slide in my DMs, I'm totally cool with that as well. If you want to watch any of my videos to kind of get a sense of who I am more, or again, just like up your video and social media game, I highly suggest you do that. Especially my story highlights. I update my Instagram story highlights often. So definitely check those out. And highly, highly recommend you as well join the Socialee Savvy membership. It's a really great community of entrepreneurs that are creative, business owners, really from all different walks of life. Nobody is in there has two of the same business. And what's really great about it is everybody gets to connect. You get to learn some really dope things about video and about social media, content creation, you name it. July is going to be a super big opportunity for people to learn from amazing guest experts. So that's like a little bit of a sneak preview as well.
Nice.
It's going to be really great. I locked down some really great people within the membership and also as guests. So I'm super excited about that. So definitely join, connect with me if you want to learn more. And yeah, that's pretty much the gist.
Amazing. I'm going to link to all of this stuff in the show notes as well, so you can just sign up as soon as you're finished listening to this episode or watching the video. Okay, amazing, Nia. Thank you so much again. I really appreciate you coming on the Ultimate Creative Podcast and sharing all of your expertise with everyone. I can't wait to see what you do next. I know it's going to be amazing, so keep doing it. Keep being amazing.
I love that. Thank you for having me. This has been an amazing, you're an incredible interviewer, by the way. I'm just going to throw that out there. So again, for everybody listening, Emily's great. But yeah, I really, really appreciate you letting me to come on here, tell my story, kind of give the gist. And yeah, I'm super excited to for everybody to dive in and join and watch and subscribe, like, comment, do all the fun things as well.
Exactly. Yes.